Second thing I want to talk about, the second phase is capture leads. All right, why do we capture leads? Well, if I ever want the opportunity to follow up with somebody who's been interacting with me, that visitor on my website or that person that came into my office, I have got to be capturing their leads. And if you want to turn in your planner, we're on page 11 now, and you can jot down right there the number of visitors that you're attracting in the different areas of your business. And then what we're going to do right now is we're going to just have a little analysis, a self-diagnosis of your lead capture gaps. So let me just bring up a couple of points. Number one, here's a picture of a website. What is the confidence level that you have that when people come to your site, that you are going to capture their information, that you've presented a compelling lead magnet that they will offer? You can see in this example, we've got a little form in the top right. This is a health or a sports training camp. So try a class for free is one of the offers that they've got here. How comfortable are you that when people come to your website, you're going to capture their leads? Or is it the case that you feel like, you got a bunch of people coming to your site. If they're hot and ready to buy, they're going to call you and buy. Otherwise, you're not going to capture their information. Just, and some of these things that we're going through, I don't want you to be like, depressed about it, but I do want you to be a little bit frustrated. I want you to go to sleep tonight thinking about, dang it, I got people coming to my website right now while I'm sleeping and I'm not capturing their information, which means they're going to leave and I may never be able to follow up with them again. So just, you can be a little bit frustrated, right? The second thing is this: how many people walk in to your place of business or call you, or maybe, some variation of that, and they leave or walk out or hang up before you've captured their information? I mean, if somebody called your place of business and said, man, I've heard some great things about you, I really want to do business with you, and then for whatever reason they didn't buy and maybe they had to get off the phone or something, how confident are you that you would have that person's information captured into a database so that you could follow up if you wanted to? Whether you would follow up or not is a different story, but how many of you are actually doing that, right? How much is slipping out of that channel? This is interesting. We have a contest every year at our software user conference, and somebody shared this example of how they created a lead entry form, and basically anybody who was on the phones or handling walk-in traffic was required to fill this out for everybody that walked through the door, and they'd capture all the basic information, details about them, where they came from, that kind of stuff. So what's your system for that, and how much is flowing? How much is flowing out of your business because of that? And then the last thing is, I'll just spend a little bit of time. Some of you get out and network and so forth. Some of you might not. But how many of you have a stack? What's the life cycle? While we're talking about life cycle, what's the life cycle of a business card, right? It starts in your pocket and you're smiling and everything, and then it goes and you sit on your desk, and then like 2 months later you're like, I'm going to clean up my desk. So you put it in your drawer, and then 6 months after that you chuck it in the trash and you try to figure out who that person was, right? Well, what if you had a system where, somebody told me that they would have they'd hand off the business cards, that person would automatically enter them into the system, and a little message would go out that would say, hey, so-and-so, great to meet you, let's connect. And they were segmented so that they could basically say, I want to go back and find everybody that I've met at networking meetings in the last 6 months and send an email out to them, or, other ways of segmenting. So what's your system for cap? But can you see what I'm saying here? We have traffic, perfectly good traffic that we're attracting, and we're not capturing it, which means if they don't buy today, we're screwed because they're not going to come back to us and we can't follow up. So I want you to draw right on the bottom here the number of visitors each month that you should be capturing each month, but you are not. And just estimate it. Add it all up, your website visitors, your walk-ins, your calls, everything. And then I want you to write the value of those lost visitors. And what we're going to do, we'll see how this goes. I may not do it for all of them, but I want to do a little poll and just get I just kind of want to see where everybody is. So on your screen, if you want to just type in the monthly value of the leads you're losing because of poor lead capture, the survey should be launched now. So just as soon as that shows up on your screen, just go ahead and enter the value of your lost captured prospects. Okay, and again, I realize this is hard. Like some of this stuff you're having to make up, but just, be conservative, make some estimates, and it's better to have something than nothing. Okay, so I'm going to close this off and I'll show you the results. So you can see here we have, there are a lot of us. So the biggest number is $1,000 to $5,000 per month that we're missing out on. That's just, revenue out the door because we're not capturing leads. got a few people, these poor fellows and ladies and gentlemen who are losing more than $10,000 a month. So anyway, this is good. And you'll see why it's important that we're putting a monetary value on this, because what we're going to try to do is say, okay, what's the biggest thing that we should focus on first?